this perpetrator keeps trying to deny all charges.
I just want to say I didn't cause her death. I didn't kill her. I didn't murder her. I didn't do none of that.
Despite strong evidence.
You stomped her head, you kicked her in the back, hit her in the stomach, you dragged her by her hair.
But I wasn't abusing her over the time, though.
That results in a terrible tragedy.
Oh, what? Bro, my niece not gone, bro. What you mean, Martin, go? No, for me, I know.
Her father, oblivious, or perhaps an accomplice.
You say it's in jest, but I have a dead child with injuries. I mean, that's not how a child's nipple is supposed to look. It's down.
Hello, and welcome to the channel. Trigger warning. The following content contains extremely disturbing information. The story of an evil stepmother who took it too far. This is the tragedy of 9-year-old Jamaria Sessions. On June 17, 2024, a 911 call was placed in Orange County, Florida, to report a tragedy. Little Jamaria Sessions had been found lifeless in her home. This body cam footage captured the moment police first spoke with Taichel Martin, the woman living in the home where Jamaria was found dead. Officers had not arrested her yet. This was an initial fact-finding conversation. Taichel appeared calm and cooperative. Detectives begin by asking her for basic identification and confirming her age and birthday, while also establishing a baseline.
All right, what's your name, ma'am?
Taichel Martin.
And what's your date of birth?
9/12/1989.
And how old are you?
34.
34, okay.
What follows is a calm, almost routine conversation, despite the gravity of the situation. Her stepdaughter has just been found lifeless in the home.
All right, so a couple quick questions for you. So yesterday I understand you went to the airport to try to fly some kids out to California to visit their grandmother, correct?
Yes.
What time did you leave the house?
I want to say maybe 5-ish.
Okay. And then you got to the airport. What happened along the way to the airport?
The lack of urgency in her tone immediately stands out, but things quickly take a turn.
She threw up.
Who's she?
Jamaria.
Okay. And did you guys get her breakfast? Is that what she threw up?
Yes.
What'd you guys get her for breakfast?
Banana and Gatorade.
Okay, so she threw that up. And then you guys get there, and then what happens?
Notice how she doesn't refer to Jamaria by her name, yet she felt the police would just know. This is guilt coming in.
We was almost there when she threw up. When we got out the car, she was walking fine, and then she was like, when we got halfway down the roadway, she was like, I'm starting to feel weak. So I walked her back to the car, and the girls went ahead of me. So I got in the car, and I went and picked the girls up. I went and told the girls that I was going to go around and for them to go ahead and go to the airport so I can get her wheelchair assistance.
Okay.
Again, Taichel is answering slowly and carefully.
So you got her a wheelchair?
I wasn't able to.
Oh, you weren't able to? Okay.
No, because when they said that I have to book it through the airline, I have to go through the airline or something to get the wheelchair or something, so we remained in the car.
Okay. So why was she feeling weak? Just because she was sick, or was she having other injuries?
We just came back from out of the country or whatever, so she's been sick and about 6-7 other.
Her explanation for Jamaria's weakness centers on a vague illness, one that supposedly affected several family members after a recent cruise. In what feels like an attempt to justify Jamaria's physical state, Taichel suddenly adds a story about a fall.
Did fall the other day.
Okay.
We have I guess a leak from the ceiling in our living room, and I guess she said she was walking in the dark and didn't see the dog food bag, tripped over the dog food bag, fell because slipped in the puddle of water. She said she hit her head, but when I checked, I didn't see any bumps or anything, so she said she twisted her ankle. I put a compression sock on and allowed her to ice it.
She looks dry-mouthed and adds too many details.
How long ago did that trip happen?
That was maybe 3 days ago.
So like Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday or Friday.
This part of the story is both overly detailed and suspiciously convenient. The injury suddenly introduced feels like a way to pre-explain bruises or head trauma that investigators might find.
And she was actually walking on it fine. She said when she got in the tub to sit down, it swelled up.
Okay.
From being in the water, that's what she said. So we gave her the crutch that we had.
Okay.
Crutch that we had in the house.
Okay, so you gave her crutches. Did you guys take her to the doctor at all?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
The officers want to know about her father.
So where does, and I know Mom's here now, does he normally live here?
Yes. He's only been gone for, I think, 3 days.
So he left on Thursday or Friday?
Yeah.
What does he do for work?
He works at is it a paint? It's a paint shop or something.
Taichel seems to have blanked out. She gives an unclear explanation about his work and school schedule, and oddly adds that he had recently injured himself too, busting his head and losing a tooth in a bike accident. This detail about his injury comes out of nowhere and is told in a vague, confused manner. It's hard to ignore how the stepmother's narrative keeps circling around physical injuries, Jamaria's, and now the father's, as if trying to normalize trauma.
Does he know about his daughter already?
So I called him to tell him to come to the house, but I didn't tell him.
Okay, so he doesn't know anything yet.
After saying they returned from Orlando around 10 a.m., Taichel claims she was unwell and took medicine for a sore throat, sleeping through the day.
I was sleeping all day. Jamaria was actually telling me that she felt better. Once we got back, I gave her a popsicle, 2 popsicles. She ate them. She was on the couch. Before I went to sleep, I told the girls I was going to sleep and alarming the house.
At this point, the timeline becomes muddy.
They went to the park or something.
Jamaria did?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you're not sure. You were asleep, right? So what time did you wake up?
I woke up I woke up periodically. But I stayed in bed.
Right.
You mean like when I found her?
No, so did you stay in bed throughout the night last night?
So when I went to sleep, it was only about 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Okay.
So I think I slept to about 12 something, got up, just sat up in the bed, drank something, laid back down, and I think I was calling my mom back because I saw she had a missed call or whatever. I don't remember. I just know that I never got out of bed.
When asked what time she woke up, her answer is vague and inconsistent. This lack of clarity around the evening hours is critical. It's the time when Jamaria likely died. Taichel insists she was sleeping through it all.
Look at that phone and see what time you called your mom back?
Yes. She called me at 11:43. That's probably what woke me. I called her back at 12:05.
Again, Taichel insists that she was, in fact, sleeping.
And then where was Jamaria at that time, at 12:05? Was she in her room, or you don't know, or was she with you?
She was, I don't know where she was at that time.
Okay, you never got up to go check?
No.
Anybody? Okay.
As she tried to establish her ignorance, she put her foot in her mouth again.
But she sleeps, she doesn't have a room. She sleeps anywhere.
Anywhere? Okay.
Mostly in Naya's room.
Okay.
Or on the couch. Well, she was sleeping in Naya's room, but she was doing things that her dad didn't like, so her dad made her sleep on the couch.
First, she admits Jamaria didn't have a room in the house. This was the first red flag. No personal space for the child. But Taichel covered it up by throwing her husband under the bus.
What was that?
Stealing from the girls, talking about boys a lot, being nasty, not bathing and stuff like that.
The officers asked the real question now.
Okay. So this morning, you get up out of bed and you go to check on Jamaria. What happened there? Like, why did you go in there to check on her?
Taichel's story altered.
No, I actually I got up and I turned the light on and I noticed that she was on the mattress.
So she was in the same room you were in?
Yes.
Okay.
I tapped her, asked her, do she want to go to the do she need to go to the bathroom? And she didn't respond.
So, Jamaria was in the same room as her after all. The girl who was supposedly wandering the house just hours earlier is now back in the room, lifeless on the floor.
And then you called 911?
Yes.
What was she wearing?
She didn't have on anything.
No socks, no shoes, no clothes, nothing?
No, she must have, but that's normal. Most of the girls walk around like that.
Okay.
Next, Taichel explained why Jamaria had no clothes on.
I don't know, I have an autistic daughter, and she does it all day long. I think Jamaria probably was hot or something, or I don't know.
The officer comes to her physical injuries.
She had a burn to the top of her foot. How did she get the burn?
So, my daughter, she does hair as well.
Which daughter?
My 9-year, well, all of them, but my 9-year-old daughter does hair. And she did her hair, and they both dipped her hair in the hot water. That's just a method of doing hair. Mm-hmm. And she said some of the hot water spilled on her foot, but she said she never saw a burn, and I'm thinking it's due to the compression sock being on her.
That she was wearing?
Jamaria never complained about a burn. We didn't take the compression sock off until today.
The stories don't line up. They contradict each other within minutes.
So you took it. So when I said if you found her wearing any clothes, you said no, she wasn't wearing any clothes, and now you're saying you took the compression sock off.
Well, not Monday,
today.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, so Sunday you took it off, and then you saw the burn.
Yes.
Did you guys do anything at that point to treat that burn?
Yes.
What did you guys do?
Neosporin. We put Neosporin on it, but it was only at the top of her toe.
Okay.
So I was like,
it didn't look bad.
No, it didn't look bad at all. My daughter said, I believe she said her skin was coming off when she took the compression sock off.
And that was Sunday.
Yes.
The detective circles back. In December of 2023, Jamaria Sessions sent the younger daughter, Jaliyah, then 5 years old, to live with his mother. That left Jamaria, age 8, alone in the home with Taichel and her daughters. She was the only non-biological child in that household.
Where is Julia, Jamaria's sister?
She's with his mom.
And that's in Orlando?
Yes.
All right. Why is she there?
Apparently, she said she didn't want to be around us. We were too strict on her and all type of stuff. That's what she was saying. So it was just becoming too much of a problem, and we made the decision for her to go over there and be cared for because, it was a lot of stuff going on with her.
So, the younger sister complained of them being strict. Another bad sign. But why was little Jamaria living in this house? After her parents separated, her father's new girlfriend, Taichel Elise Martin, began harassing her mother. Jamaria's mother, Tadina Dort, filed various lawsuits against Taichel, harassing her, and kept fighting for her children. She even fought leukemia, but unfortunately, she passed away from heart failure in 2022, leaving Jamaria and her younger sister with their grandmother. Jamaria Sessions, Jamaria's father, had a violent criminal history, including drug charges, felony child neglect, and a 2016 attempted homicide that left a bystander wounded. In 2020, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison after fleeing a crash that severely injured 2 children. Despite this record, Lawan regained custody of his daughters after their mother died in 2022. Their maternal grandmother, who tried to protect them, was ignored. When Lawan was released from prison in October 2023, he abducted the girls from school and took them to live with his girlfriend, Taichel Martin, and her children. Authorities failed to act, and that failure would prove fatal.
You tried doing CPR this morning?
Yes, sir.
And it was not successful?
No, sir.
Taichel's answer is defensive. There is no emotion. Nothing about trying to revive a 9-year-old child. It would be traumatizing for any adult, yet Taichel remains composed.
Disciplining the kids, do you discipline Jamaria and Julia when she lived here?
Yes.
How do you discipline?
They're supposed to run. If they do something, they're supposed to do squats. Or, Dad have made them, just go up and down the stairs or whatever, holding something or whatever. I have popped them on the hands before. I pretty much, if Dad feel like he want to whoop them, leave that to him. No going with the other kids to places, staying home if, you haven't did what you're supposed to do.
Right.
She looks almost afraid when answering this question and leaves all physical contact to Jamaria Sessions. Taichel is trying her best to establish that nothing bad was going on around the time Jamaria lost her life. But even in that small story, her tone is odd, like she wasn't sure whether to downplay it or explain it.
So, last question I have for you, last couple questions. All the bites and stuff she has on her, where are those from?
So, her and Egypt broke out from, she saying, the kids told me that she was doing stuff to herself. I didn't witness it myself. But she did break out. Her and Egypt broke out while we were in Puerto Rico. I put medicine on it that she broke out from. But as far as a bite, she has a bite mark from the dog, which was stitched up.
Yeah, that was a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
From 7?
Yeah.
The officer only asked about the bite mark. Defensively, Taichel tried to explain that Jamaria had broken out in hives and that she was abusing herself just to make sure the officers don't accuse her of anything.
Alright. How bad was that dog bite?
To me, it wasn't that bad. To me, it wasn't that bad because she wasn't she cried for about 5 minutes and it stopped.
But her delivery was cold. She minimized Jamaria's dog bite. By now, her answers were all sounding the same. Detached, emotionless, inconsistent.
How often does she go to the doctor?
Dad has only taken her to the doctor once since we've had them.
How long you guys had them?
Since October of 23.
Again, she blames Jamaria's father, implying that it was his decision. She had only seen a doctor once during that time, but she didn't know anything about that doctor visit. For someone supposedly caring for multiple kids, she didn't know the most basic information about Jamaria's healthcare. The conversation turned to the night Jamaria passed. The other officer had some notes.
You had everybody downstairs and you were going to go lay down. You set the alarm?
No, I told the girls that, I was going to set the alarm on the house.
Okay. Is that something you normally do whenever you go to lay down?
Yes.
Just to make sure the house is safe and everything?
Yeah, because I have an autistic daughter.
Okay. So if a door opens, does the alarm advise
Trigger.
you the door's open?
Yes.
He hit the nail on the head.
And you said they went to the park after that?
I think they went to the park, yeah.
Okay, there was the alarm. Did the alarm go off?
No.
Okay.
I hadn't alarmed the house at that time.
Okay.
Why would she think they went to the park if the alarm didn't go off?
But you said when you went to lay down that you set the alarm.
Yeah, I said I told them I was going to set the alarm.
Okay.
Let me see when I set the alarm. No, it's not. I don't have an internet connection.
Okay.
The story kept shifting. Taichel explained that her 17-year-old sometimes drove the kids to the park. She said she had no idea when they got back from the park. Taichel wanted to make it clear that whatever happened, she wasn't involved. She was guessing about the most critical moment of the entire night.
When I called 911, I told them, they said lay her flat on her back. I said she is flat on her back. They
How'd you move her?
Said she needed to be on a flat surface, so I removed the mattress from up under her.
Okay.
She's explaining that she acted under instructions.
So, in your room, how many mattresses are in your room?
The room that she was in?
Yes.
2.
Okay, so 2 mattresses in there. Is that the room that you were sleeping in?
Yes.
Okay, so she was on a different mattress than the one you were on.
Yes.
Okay.
She wanted to show distance, physical and emotional, as if that separation proved innocence. Then the officers proceeded to ask for permission to search the house. She agreed without hesitation. They served a search warrant. Taichel's mind is racing at that point.
Do you have any objection to us going through your phone? Is that no?
No, I don't.
Okay.
She was fumbling, clearly struggling to remain calm.
All right, so if you can leave that phone with me, we'll put it on airplane mode, and then we'll go from there.
The phone was now in their hands, but her calm didn't crack. She still wasn't showing fear. She still didn't know it, but her answers, her tone, her contradictions were already starting to reveal the truth. This body cam audio from the 17th of June, 2024, is the first time police made contact with Jamaria's father. When Jamaria Sessions was informed, he appeared heartbroken.
I just want to see my baby.
But the investigating officer was all business.
Very sorry for your loss, sir. Do you have any idea what's going on this morning?
Mama just told me my baby dead, man. What?
The officers wanted to know his whereabouts at the time little Jamaria lost her life. It's interesting to note here that Lawan immediately spoke about Jamaria's discipline issues and was establishing the fact that he never hit her as a punishment.
My last daughter that got in trouble too much, I sent her to my mom. So I don't, this not adding up, because why did they just tell me to come get my baby, man? Why the fuck did she have just been with me?
The reason given for separating the sisters was that the younger child was misbehaving and causing tension between Lawan and Taichel. Detective Parrish wanted to know why Lawan moved out of his girlfriend's house.
Why'd you move out?
We're not compatible. Me and her weren't compatible.
You and Ty?
Yeah.
Okay.
He went through the details again about Jalaiah moving to her grandmother's house while Jamaria was with Taichel.
And Julia's lived there for how long?
Couple months.
Couple months. What happened that she moved from here with you?
She was just having a hard time adjusting. Her mother died. Her grandmother and them weren't raising her correctly. We tried to instill rules and principles in her, like to try to get her to be a child. She was beyond her years, and it wasn't working out. I was feeling like I was having to get on to her too much and, maybe pop her a little bit more than I should as a father.
Okay.
So I sent her to my mother.
While it made sense that he wanted to protect her from his anger, blaming a child for being beyond her years was just odd. He simply didn't know how to deal with children and unknowingly told the police how harsh he was being. With Jamaria, it was a similar story. They weren't getting along.
I don't even know why I keep asking her, she's telling me I'm bad. I'm not trying to be bad. Dad, I'm not trying to do this stuff. I don't know. I was going to take her to a doctor. I was under the impression she was going to California right now.
Okay.
She got back. We was going to go to a doctor. I was going to go see what's wrong with her.
Little Jamaria was trying her best, and what she said to him last was heartbreaking.
So when I'm asking her, what's your problem? Why are you doing this? And she's telling me, I don't know. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to, Dad. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to be good, but I just can't.
Next, the officer asked him a very important question. Did he see Jamaria acting out before he yelled at her?
I wasn't disciplining her because I wasn't here enough.
Okay. So you weren't physically seeing her acting out. You're getting it kind of secondhand.
Yes, everything is secondhand.
What exactly needed disciplining?
What was, when Ty would call you and say that she's acting out, what is she doing?
Just stuff like not listening, not cleaning up, doing what she want to do, or going through the other kids' stuff,
He said it himself. It was just regular child behavior. The last time he saw his daughter was before the cruise, and he hadn't seen her after because of a shockingly absurd reason. The detective asked some crucial things.
Does Jamaria normally sleep naked?
I don't know. Now when they're asleep, I don't go in their room. Okay. And being that I'm the only man in the house, I wasn't here, so
I get that.
It's possible.
Okay.
He seemed to have no clue about his daughter's habits.
Where did she normally sleep? Who did she normally sleep with? If she had a room to call her own, where would it be?
She's supposed to have her own room, but I haven't got to it yet, but between Naya and Shara, Denaya and Deshara.
So downstairs.
Yes.
And then another red flag went up.
When she gets in trouble, I make her sleep upstairs on the couch so I can keep an eye on her.
Talk to me about when Steven attacked her.
I wasn't here.
Do you know anything about it?
Nope. I was ready to kill the dog the same day. They all begged me not to.
Okay. Do you know what started it? What happened? Was it a toy? Was it food? Was it just him being him?
She told me that she tried to take some food from him while he was eating.
Yes, that's correct. In March of 2024, Jamaria was taken to the hospital for a dog bite. That was the only time she received medical care since her move. Later, police would say that the bite wasn't an accident.
How was she in school?
Well, one has to go to work.
In the beginning, she would just go to sleep in class when she didn't want to do her work.
The reason she would sleep in class was that she did not get enough rest at home.
Do you have any reason to believe that Ty would harm your child?
No, I don't.
Nothing that indicated otherwise? What about the girls?
They all kids. I don't think so.
Investigators would later confirm that both Lawan and Taichel had a history of criminal activity, including drug dealing. Multiple family members had made reports to DCF and the Orange County Police Department. They had begged for welfare checks and reported suspected abuse. No one listened, and what happened next would haunt everyone who tried to warn them. Jamaria was left in a house where no one truly loved her. She had been pulled from school, separated from her sister, and placed under the care of someone who had already been abusive. However, Jamaria's uncle and grandmother had some doubts. They were devastated and couldn't hold in their grief. But in his pain, her uncle said something with complete resolution.
What the hell at?
He was fine.
She did it. I don't care what y'all say. I know for a fact she did it. Ain't no way. Nah, bro, no. No, she was supposed to have been home.
Yes.
Ain't no way. Hell no. I don't care, bro. That hoe put me in there before. For nothing. And now my knees gone. Look at how she treats you, bro.
He is referring to Taichel.
Talk with
No, you're fine. You sit right there. You want to sit on the ground? I don't want you falling out. Are you on brother? Yes? Okay. Take your time.
Jamaria's auntie Skyla publicly stated that the children were loved and wanted, and that Lawan took them out of spite, possibly just to hurt the maternal side of the family, even after the children's mother had passed away. The detectives conducted their investigations over a period of 2 months. What they discovered was shocking. While the other children had their own rooms, toys, and beds, Jamaria did not. She slept on a couch or on a crib-sized mattress in someone else's room. She wasn't allowed to eat with the others. She couldn't sit with them, play with them, or share in their lives. Punishments for Jamaria were harsh. She had to run in place, do wall sits, and run on the treadmill. She was hit with objects. Other times, her toys were taken. The other children were told they could discipline her too. When visitors came, Jamaria simply vanished. Her father claimed she was resting, playing, or out of sight for a reason. Further disturbing revelations were made following the search warrant. On June 15th, a surveillance video showed Jamaria nude, swaying in a room. She tried to pick up a blanket to cover herself. That triggered Taichel to kick her hard again and again. She was dragged by the hair and left motionless on the floor. In another, she was made to run in place. When she stumbled, she was kicked again. Taichel yelled at her to get upstairs. It was abuse, over and over, caught on tape. They created a world where she was starved, beaten, burned, and humiliated. There was no one in that house to save Jamaria. There were over 2,800 videos of Taichel abusing Jamaria. On the evening of June 16th, a compression sock was removed from Jamaria's foot, and the skin came off with it. The next morning, a 911 call was made from Taichel mother's phone. Jamaria was unresponsive and cold to the touch, found naked, her body covered in bruises, abrasions, puncture wounds, and bite marks. She was pronounced deceased at the scene. She was only 9. But the full horror wouldn't be known until the autopsy. The cause of death was ruled as complications from blunt force trauma. Clearly, she had been tortured, and it had been going on for months. On August 28, 2024, Taichel Martin was arrested for murder, aggravated child abuse, and neglect. The following is Taichel Martin's interrogation.
What happened?
Honestly, I can't say how she passed away. When I found her, she was sleeping. All I can say is, she did receive whoopings. The girls told me that she fell that day when I was asleep. When I was sleeping, I did not witness that fall. I don't know how she passed. I don't know how she passed away. I honestly don't.
At first, she insisted she had no knowledge about the tragedy.
How did she get the pinch marks all over her body?
I have pinched her before, but from what I saw, I didn't pinch. I didn't do all of that.
Did anybody else pinch her?
Yeah.
Who?
Dad.
Dad?
But when asked about the pinch marks covering Jamaria's body, Taichel casually admits to pinching her, then distances herself. She also tries to shift the blame.
What happens next? You wake up and then it's 4 o'clock in the morning or earlier, whatever time you woke up. Kind of go from there when you woke up.
Can't quite remember the time. I went in the bathroom. I didn't see her walking out of the room, but walking back into the room, I saw her on the mattress. I knew she had been peeing on herself, so I tapped her and said, "Do you have to use the bathroom?" She didn't respond. Tapped her again, she didn't have to use it, and she didn't respond, so then I called the police.
Her story continues to crumble as she describes finding Jamaria unresponsive. Instead of panic, there's indifference. The lack of urgency is chilling.
So what kind of abuse or what kind of discipline would LaJuan use on Jamaria?
What you mean, like use?
Like whoopings, would she timeouts?
Like if she got in trouble.
Like if she got in trouble for something, what would be the recourse that LaJuan would do?
I mean, initially it'll start out with maybe having to run in place. That's a lot of things that he would tell her. They would have to stand on the wall sometimes, and then it eventually resulted into a whooping.
When questioned about discipline, Taichel outlines a series of cruel punishments and calls them whoopings, a euphemism that attempts to mask the brutality. This gets on the detective's radar, and they probe further.
How did Jamaria sprain her ankle and when?
She told me that she tripped over the dog food downstairs when she was walking in the dark in the living room.
So the downstairs living room?
She wasn't telling the complete truth, as evidence would suggest later.
How did she get the burns to her feet and her back?
She said it was from hot water, from the hair.
What was she doing with the hair? I understand it was already does hair, but I'm trying to see you understand.
She has to dip it in hot water, and apparently she had moved or something.
Her answers were getting weaker and weaker.
Do you know about how her lip got busted or her teeth got broken out of her mouth?
I thought it was from the treadmill.
Why do you think it was a treadmill?
Because that's what I believe she told Azaria that.
She provides a series of dubious explanations for Jamaria's injuries.
When did that happen?
That week. I don't know exactly which day.
Did you guys take her to the doctor for it? I mean, teeth injuries are pretty painful.
No, she didn't. No.
She didn't complain about it or anything?
No, I didn't even see it. She didn't even show it to me.
None of these injuries were treated by a doctor, and she admits Jamaria didn't show them to her, though they would have been impossible to miss. Her answering pace has slowed down quite a bit, because she is answering slowly and carefully. Investigators had used a luminol-based test to check for blood. It lit up in the hallway, a small closet on the stairs, and in a bathtub. Jamaria may have been kept inside that closet. There was only one way to find out. Confront Taichel.
And has anybody ever been locked in that room?
No.
As punishment?
No.
Do you know what Blue Star is?
No.
You ever seen CSI shows where they have like the spray on blood, and they call it luminol, and it lights up with blood? Kind of hard to see a little bit in that one, or look at the floor on that one.
Okay.
This is a better picture. This is the floor with the door closed.
Okay.
So why would there be blood there?
I have no idea. Is this human blood?
Or monkey. It's primate or human.
I mean, I have animals. So.
But it's not blood. They won't react with animals. So this is the couch that Jamaria slept on?
Yes.
See the blood stains?
Wait. Yeah.
Okay. And then this is your bathtub upstairs in the master.
Yes.
Okay.
Investigators show her luminol results indicating blood on the bedroom floor, the door, and even on the couch where Jamaria allegedly slept. She claims ignorance. Perhaps most disturbing, blood was also found in the bathtub of Taichel's own master bedroom, suggesting a possible attempt to clean up or conceal what happened.
Did Seven bite her again? And just so you know, she had a laceration behind her ear that looked like it was caused by a dog bite. So across her head, she had a bite mark here and a bite mark here where he grabbed her across the back of her head. When that incident occurred, that you said was you and Jamaria in that room, did Seven bite her?
Not that I know of.
She continues to deny knowing how most of them happened, even though she lived in the same house and was responsible for Jamaria's care.
On their cell phones?
Me, LaJuan, and my mom.
LaJuan didn't have access to it?
He had access to the phone.
Okay. There's only 2 users?
Yeah.
That's you and your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Not LaJuan. There's only 2 phones.
So on my phone, I'm logged in.
Yes.
After confirming who had access to the home security footage, the detective confronts her with another suspicious problem.
After this incident, that was the only 2 phones that are registered with Vivint to have access to the system. When you set up your account on your phone, it logs that data. Okay, so we know whose phone is doing what.
Okay.
So when I asked you earlier what happened on the 12th, I'm asking you that because there's a bunch of videos that were deleted on the 12th. And they were only deleted by 1 user, and that's either you or your mom.
Multiple videos from the night Jamaria died had been deleted, and investigators prove they were removed using Taichel's login.
So I'm asking you what happened on the 12th to cause a bunch of videos to be deleted. If something happened where you hit LaJuan, I don't care. He probably deserved it, to be honest with you. So I'm just trying to understand the dynamics inside the house.
This raises a serious red flag. If Taichel had nothing to hide, why would she delete specific footage from the time of Jamaria's death?
You know, like, just basically, it was a big argument between him and I about a lot of the stuff that was going on.
Did you know he was having an affair?
No.
And that while you were in Miami on your way back up, and he had your car and he was cleaning it, that he was meeting with this girl and is basically having a child with him? No idea? Okay.
So, LaJuan didn't see Jamaria on the 9th and 10th, possibly because he was distracted by another affair, which resulted in a pregnancy. When pressed about her relationship with LaJuan, Taichel describes frequent arguments and tension, suggesting he was abusive toward her and the children. But detectives refocus the conversation. This isn't about relationship drama, it's about a dead child. Detectives then show Taichel photos of Jamaria's body. Taichel reacts with mild shock, but offers no explanation. The evidence continues to mount, but she is trying to talk to the detectives about Jamaria being in danger from her father. Right as she is painting herself a saint, the detectives hit her with something else.
And there's another video, too, of her running in place. You had her running in place, and then, for whatever reason, you kick her from behind. She trips over the bag of dog food. That's when she sprained her ankle. I mean, that's because the next video with her in it, she's wearing an ankle wrap. It fits. There's no video of her wandering through the downstairs living room, tripping over a bag of dog food. There's a video of her proceeding wearing a wrap on her foot, of her running in place and you kicking her and her falling over a bag of dog food. So
The very same injury Taichel had earlier blamed on Jamaria walking in the dark was in reality caused by her. This contradiction is caught on camera.
She sprung her ankle at that time. I did not know.
No, that's fine. But I'm telling you that you kicked her over a bag of dog food, and she may have sprained her ankle at that time, right? But there's no video of her wandering around the room. I mean, I will tell you this, that your cameras are top notch. We got 2,820 videos that I had to go through, and it captured a lot inside your home.
Taichel sits very still and tries to deny everything.
That I did physically that could have caused her death. That's just, I mean, I know what he told me, so that's what, I was leaning more towards, but...
What who told you?
Well, not me, but told her. He, basically let her know that he was going to kill her. So, I mean, I didn't know if that was a scare tactic or what, but honestly...
You can tell she's finding someone to blame it on. She directed them towards Jamaria's father.
So what do you think Belong
did? Nothing that could have caused her to die.
What do you think Belong did?
I don't know.
Well, you see the marks on her.
Right.
Who caused those marks? You, Lawan, someone else?
I mean, I feel like Lawan did.
When asked directly who caused the visible injuries on Jamaria's body, Taichel says it must have been Lawan, but then quickly backtracks.
You feel like he did, or you know he did?
Only other people it could be is my kids, and I know they didn't do that.
Her answers change depending on what's being said. She admits to discipline, denies extreme abuse, but avoids full responsibility.
I honestly can't say what all he did to her because, like I said, I walked away from it.
But we at least admit to me that you saw those marks on her body. I just can't believe that you didn't.
The marks of
those marks that you just saw in that picture, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I didn't see the reaction from the pinch, no, but I did pinch her.
During the interview, Taichel Martin admitted she saw injuries on Jamaria's body, but tried to minimize her role.
What about her face? Were you aware that her face was swollen, she'd been hit or suffered some kind of injury to her head where it caused her face to swell up? Do you know about that?
No. I mean, when I saw her, I just thought.
What about on the 16th, the day prior? Do you know about it?
No.
So far, she has simply been denying any knowledge of the head injury.
Text you and says, hey, maybe we should reschedule this flight, let it slowly go down on her head or face. Text you that. Deny I saw it.
Did I respond?
Yes, there was a whole conversation.
But investigators found a text from Taichel discussing how Jamaria's facial swelling might delay travel plans, proving she knew the injuries were serious. Then, the most disturbing piece of evidence came to light. A search warrant had led police to electronic devices. They found deleted videos, 95 of them, all erased after June 12th. But some videos remained. What they saw was horrifying. In one, Jamaria was being attacked by a dog while Taichel intimidated her. Taichel still denied responsibility.
So how did she have a puncture behind her ear?
I didn't see. I'm not aware of that. I didn't know anything about it.
Well, she did. She got a puncture from behind her ear, and across the side of her face was like a big dog bite. So it was a big dog.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that.
Her repeated denial of injuries, many of which are clearly seen in video or photos, makes her statements unreliable and suspicious. Taichel resorted to claiming she didn't cause any fatal injuries. Investigators explained that Jamaria died from multiple untreated injuries combined with extreme dehydration and starvation. Her body was failing from the inside. The child had no food in her stomach, no water in her bladder, and her urine was so dark it resembled coffee. She had old and fresh wounds, broken teeth, and muscle breakdown from starvation. Taichel tried to shift blame, saying Jamaria lost weight because she was picky and didn't like the meals served.
Jamaria moved into our house eating cereal and noodles. If she lost a lot of weight because she told us, because we had meals, she told us That's not what she wants to eat. Dad told her she has to eat those meals that is served to her. So Jamaria lost weight because she couldn't eat cereal and noodles anymore.
She tried to sound like a good mother, establishing good eating habits.
She was in the corner so long she peed herself.
That was on the ship, sir.
But that's my point, is that her mindset, she's 9 years old, she's not an adult. She's so scared of you and Luan that she would stand in the corner and piss herself.
Well, she told me that she did that because he told her she couldn't leave out the time out for anything.
She's so scared. Her dad's a million miles away in her mind. She's out in the ocean. She's on another country. Dad's so far away.
And
that's mental abuse. She's so programmed and so scared of both of you that she will do whatever it takes.
I don't think she was scared of me.
Video evidence showed a child too scared to move, showing clear signs of mental and physical abuse. She claimed the more severe marks were caused by someone else, possibly Luan, who wasn't present at the time.
I honestly feel like it's a setup. You know, like he's never left the house. He's never left the house. He's never, ever.
By who, Luan?
Yeah.
Then why are you trying to protect him by saying I didn't see any of those marks on her, if that's true?
By denying injuries she clearly caused and blaming someone who wasn't even there, Taichel exposed major holes in her story. Eventually, she admitted that many of her previous statements were made to protect Luan. She decided to dress up her story a little differently. By her own words, Taichel admitted she covered up parts of the truth out of fear and self-preservation, not innocence. Taichel told detectives that Jamaria would sometimes say she was thirsty or needed to use the bathroom during punishments, but Luan often made her wait until she was finished. But she admits hearing Luan deny the child basic needs, and she stood by, allowing it to continue. Even without witnessing the violence firsthand, Taichel knew what was happening and did nothing to stop it. When detectives confronted her with the charges, including premeditated murder, aggravated child abuse, and neglect, Taichel tried to distance herself from responsibility. She tries to play dumb, but the officer is having none of it. The violence was not a one-time outburst. It was sustained, intentional, and ultimately fatal. Taichel was charged with first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and aggravated child abuse. She pleaded not guilty. Meanwhile, the state of Florida is seeking the death penalty. Taichel was violent, open about her actions, and completely unafraid of consequences, because no one stopped her. Though Luan was charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child and pleaded not guilty, it was Taichel's words, actions, and unrelenting aggression that showed who had her hands on that little girl. The evidence made it clear. Taichel was not a frustrated parent, she was the one delivering the pain, day after day. Both adults failed Jamaria, but Taichel's hands delivered the blows that ended her life. If Jamaria's story moved you, please hit the like button to help raise awareness about the dangers of leaving a child in unsafe hands. Subscribe to the channel for updates on this case, and to stay informed about more stories that matter. We upload videos frequently, so check back soon for our next video. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.